Dear friend, there are paths we don't choose because we know exactly where they lead, but because something deep within us keeps calling. It may come in a quiet moment, when we look into our own eyes in the mirror and realize we've never truly understood ourselves, never truly lived wholeheartedly for something meaningful. Or perhaps it arises when we witness a sorrow, a moment of impermanence in someone we love, and suddenly grasp that life is vast and filled with far more questions than we ever imagined. It is a calling, not of ambition, not of power, not of comfort, but the call of a soul yearning to uncover the true meaning of this human life. A call we cannot ignore. Today's story is about someone who followed that call. A person who gave up everything. A royal palace, wealth, status, personal happiness, and even those things that seemed impossible to let go of. His name was Siddhartha, but his story is also the story of any one of us who has ever lain awake at night, wondering, why was I born? What is my purpose? And how can I move beyond the suffering of this world? After the night, Siddhartha left the palace, leaving behind music, golden feasts, and the tear-filled eyes of his wife and child. He donned the simple robe of a mendicant and stepped into a journey with no known destination. He did not claim to be special. He did not assume he knew more than others. He was simply a young man, a seeker, unwilling to accept that life was merely a fleeting shadow, drifting between birth, aging, illness, and death. And so began Siddhartha's search for the path. He sought out the most respected spiritual teachers of his time. The first was Siddhartha Gautama, a master of deep meditation, known for his attainment of the realm of non-possession, a state in which the mind no longer clings to body or world, where attachment dissolves completely. Amidst the deep silence of the forest, Siddhartha quickly learned this meditative state, but even after mastering it, he still felt a quiet unrest within. There were roots of suffering that had yet to be pulled out. The peace he found, while profound, was only temporary. Whenever he emerged from meditation, the same questions returned. About life, about death, about the unrelenting pain of human existence. Like a wound that had not yet healed. Not content to stop there, he continued his journey and studied under another teacher, Siddhartha Gautama, who taught the formless realm of neither perception nor non-perception, a state that transcended all concepts of being and non-being. Once again, Siddhartha achieved the highest states of meditative absorption, levels that few could reach, and yet, when he emerged from that deep state, he asked himself, if even the deepest meditation can offer only fleeting peace, but cannot truly transform the roots of suffering, can this be the path of ultimate liberation? He did not deny the value of meditation, but he also knew he could not stop there. In his heart, he knew. He had to go further. He had to find another way. This time, Siddhartha chose the path of asceticism, a path many spiritual practitioners of that era believed could lead to liberation through self-mortification and suppression of desires. He went to live with the 5 ascetics known as the group of Kondanya by the banks of the Niranjana River. There, each day they consumed only a few sesame seeds, a single grain of rice, and a sip of water. Siddhartha's body became emaciated, nothing but skin and bones. His breathing grew labored, like blades slicing through his chest. His eyes sank deep, and his ribs stood out starkly beneath the skin. But still he did not stop. He thought, if one must go to the very depths of suffering to find truth, then I am ready. For 6 long years, he persevered in this severe practice, testing the limits of his body and mind. Then one day, after collapsing from exhaustion at the riverbank, a young woman named Sujata brought him a bowl of milk porridge. That simple offering, small as it seemed, became a great turning point on his spiritual journey. When he regained consciousness, Siddhartha suddenly realized self-torture is not the path to enlightenment. The body is a vehicle. If it is too depleted, the mind cannot remain clear enough to see into the nature of suffering. He decided to abandon the path of asceticism and instead embrace another way. The middle way, a path that avoids both sensual indulgence and extreme self-denial. This decision disappointed the 5 ascetics. They believed Siddhartha had forsaken his ideals, turned his back on the quest for liberation. But Siddhartha did not judge them. He harbored no anger or bitterness, for by now compassion had grown within him alongside wisdom. He understood they were still clinging to the idea that only through intense suffering could one become worthy of awakening. But Siddhartha did not practice only for himself. He practiced to discover a path that anyone could follow, a path to freedom that did not require destroying the body, withdrawing from the world, or running away from reality. And so, after countless trials, setbacks, and sincere efforts, Siddhartha was ready to enter the most decisive stage of his journey, to sit beneath the Bodhi tree and not rise until he had discovered the ultimate truth, the way out of suffering. But before reaching the moment of enlightenment, let us pause to reflect on the compassion in Siddhartha's heart. It was this compassion that kept him from clinging to lofty meditative states, from getting lost in the severe austerities, or from feeling pride in any temporary attainment. Compassion was the driving force that kept him moving forward, continuing the search, not for his own peace, but for a path that others could also walk. It was a deep, selfless love, born from understanding. Suffering is not mine alone. It belongs to all beings. Perhaps it was this very compassion that led Siddhartha to the middle way, a path not of escape, not of indulgence, not of self-punishment, but of balance, a way to live in the world without being swept away by it, a way of wakefulness in every breath, in every step, a path where wisdom and compassion walk hand in hand, where one can clearly see the nature of suffering, yet not be shattered by it. When Siddhartha sat beneath the Bodhi tree, it was not merely a historical moment. It was a symbol of unshakable resolve. The resolve of one who refused to turn away from suffering, who refused easy answers, and who dared to sit, fully exposed, before all the questions of life. Siddhartha's journey was not the path of a saint from the beginning. It was the journey of a human being, one who dared to be radically honest with himself, who dared to go beyond every limit and social mold to find his own way. It was a journey of trial and error, of failure and rising again. A journey of an open heart, always asking, what is the path that ends suffering? Not just for me, but for all beings. Perhaps the most precious thing about this journey was Siddhartha's deep honesty with himself. He was not afraid to see his own limitations, not afraid to be wrong, not afraid to let go of what he once believed to be right. He was willing to abandon every achievement, every ambition, every image of self, just to walk to the very edge of truth. And the miracle is this: when he found the path for himself, he also found a path for all beings. It was not a path reserved for a Buddha, but a path open to anyone who dares to be honest, who dares to awaken, who dares to live fully with both suffering and love. Dear friend, we may not be Siddhartha. We may not be the one who left the palace in the stillness of night, nor the one who sat beneath the Bodhi tree for 49 days and nights. But within each of us lives a part of that seeker of the path, a part that longs to truly understand ourselves, to rise above suffering, to live a life of meaning. Perhaps you're at a crossroads right now. Perhaps you've doubted, stumbled, or even fallen into despair in the face of pain that felt too vast to bear. But you know, the Buddha's path didn't begin with something lofty. It began with an honest heart, a heart that dared to look deeply into suffering, a heart that dared to ask the big questions, even when the answers did not come easily. That path was paved through trial and error, through falling and rising again, nourished by compassion and wisdom. It's a journey no one can walk for you, and yet no one can take it away from you. Because the path lies within you, in your breath, in each moment. You choose to live with mindfulness and honesty. Maybe you haven't gone as far as Siddhartha. Maybe you're still navigating life's pressures, fears, and uncertainties. But as long as you don't turn away from truth, as long as you keep seeking, keep waking up, you are walking the path of the seeker, the path of awakening. The story of the one who sought the way is also our story. It is the journey of a soul that refuses to be confined by what is already known, refuses to live trapped in outdated beliefs. It is the journey of a heart that knows how to feel pain, to love deeply, to forgive both self and others. Perhaps the greatest gift Siddhartha left behind was not a set of profound teachings, nor miraculous powers or supernatural feats, but the shining example of someone who dared to walk all the way to the end of truth. Someone who dared to live authentically, who let go of everything in order to find a path of freedom for all. If you ever feel small, if you feel lost in the vastness of the world, please remember, within you burns the flame of the seeker. That flame may flicker, may seem faint, but if you nurture it with honesty, patience, compassion, and wisdom, it will be enough to illuminate your every step on the path of mindfulness. And remember, you are not alone. Your journey, even when it feels solitary, is part of a much greater human journey. The journey to seek meaning, peace, and true freedom within the boundaries of this mortal life. If the story of the seeker touches your heart, may it plant a seed within you. Maybe you're on your own path now, sometimes lost, sometimes uncertain. But as long as you do not turn away from the truth, as long as you choose to live in awareness, you are already a seeker. You are someone who refuses to waste this life, someone who dares to walk through darkness in order to see the light within. And that may be the most precious gift you could ever give yourself and to this world. Because only when each of us discovers our own path of awakening can this world begin to become a place of peace, a place of understanding, a place of love, a place of true freedom. Thank you for listening to today's story with Mindful Sanctuary. May your day be peaceful, gentle, and filled with the light of inner stillness. May the flame of the seeker always burn in your heart, guiding you step by step on your own mindful path.